Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Ready Set Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and the Teddy Chinaris. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by Teddy's good friend, Darian.
Suh, dudes?
Darian, what are your favorite things about Teddy Chinaris?
I'm so glad you asked, Bryce. So, Teddy Chinaris is very knowledgeable about Destiny, and I like that because that means I don't have to know anything about Destiny because Teddy knows it all. I also like how passionate he is about the things he cares about, and he's a super friendly guy, and even though sometimes he talks too much, I love to do podcasts with him.
Okay.
What do you like about Teddy?
I like how you dropped a dig in there. I think he's very friendly and very funny, and he takes people joking about him very well, and he's a good meme boy. And and I do enjoy that he plays video games. Darian, do you play video games?
I do occasionally play video games.
What video games have you been playing?
All right, well, this week has been a bit light in the video game area. I did play that League of Legends, specifically the game mode. I've been calling it Air Earth, but I don't think that's what people are calling it. It's all random Earth mode. It's a lot of fun. You just get a random character, and Earth is ultra rapid fire. And it's great because you get a random character, and then the cooldowns are just non-existent, and mana's non-existent. It's great. The cooldowns are existent. It's 80% cooldown reduction, so there's a little bit, but it's really fun. Lots of spam. And I've also been playing PUBG because they released Sandhawk, the new mini royale map. That's 4x4 instead of 8x8, which is a lot of fun. It's a cool map. They have the new gun on it that replaces the Scar. So I played a bunch of that. And I've been playing Skyrim. And I've switched my playthrough from, trying to take it slow and do everything to, actually kind of trying to get done with the game for the first time because I want to replay it as a different race. Because I realized about halfway through that there was definitely a better race that I could have chosen for the way I've been playing it.
That's racist.
It's racist. Skyrim is racist. It's not my fault. I picked based on looks, and that just didn't give me any benefits for the game, so I gotta restart.
Interesting how that works.
It's not my fault. Anyway, Bryce, what have you been playing? Oh, also, I see in your list, so I should say I've been playing a shit ton of Pokemon Go. But Bryce, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Pokemon Go. I got a watch to play Pokemon Go for me, so this is the new Bryce. She's got a dumb thing that doesn't even show her anything. Hey, Darren,
I have the official one.
How does that one work? Does it just vibrate and you press the button and you don't really know why it's vibrating?
No, it's got different color indications to let you know. So usually it'll blink blue. Oh, it looks white. But blue when there's a Pokestop.
Okay.
Green when it's a Pokemon you have caught in the past. And yellow when it's a Pokemon you haven't caught in the past.
Oh, cool.
And then it does red when you disconnect and stuff.
Interesting.
And then when you hit the button, it blinks. It'll blink to indicate it spun the Pokemon stops, and you'll get a notification of how many things you got at the Pokemon stop or Pokestop, sorry. And then
and that's on your phone, not
that's on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on the Pokemon, it'll indicate on the device as well as on your phone, if you've caught it or not, based on the colored indications. Because like if you catch something, if you do something successfully, it blinks multicolor like 6 times, and it's really exciting and stuff. But if you don't, it blinks red.
Sad.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
I got the unofficial Pokemon. I'm calling it the Gacha. It's technically Go / Chicha, but it's Gacha. And this one does all the same things as hers, but it'll do it automatically. So when I just am near a Pokestop, my watch will just, or the Gacha will just spin it for me. I don't have to press anything or do anything. It'll just do it. Also, I can actually turn on I can tell it, like, you know, if I don't have many Pokeballs and I just want to focus on Pokestops, I can tell it, like, hey, only spin Pokestops, or even, like, only try and catch Pokemon I don't have in my Pokedex. So then it allows you to kind of focus your efforts where you want. So you could, you know, when I'm low on Pokeballs, I'll turn off catch all the Pokemon and have it just focus on spinning Pokestops and catching Pokemon I haven't seen. And yeah, you can turn those on and off. And it also, like, it has the interface will tell me all those same things. It'll also show on the screen how many things I got from the Pokestops. It's got little indicators to indicate if the Pokemon was caught or not. And also when I have the only catch the Pokemon I haven't seen before, it'll still, like, show me if a Pokemon nearby is one I've seen in my Pokedex. It won't show me, like, what it is. It'll just be like, this is one you have already. And if I like feel so inclined, I can tap it, and then it will try and catch it. So it's nice. It's really good for driving, so that like if it makes, like, farming Pokestops way easier, because my town doesn't have near as many as, like, Darien's does, where I can just kind of drive down Main Street and focus on my driving, because I'm a safe driver. I leave a car length between me and the car head, give me plenty of room to stop. Slowly approach the stop sign. Make sure and look both ways. I'm not on my phone swiping the deal. I got my watch to do that now. So I've been out more. I've been doing some raids. I was actually super cool. Like, I had just left Wendy's after getting off work. I got some food, and I was, like, trying to find, like, a small raid to do before I headed home, and I saw on my map there was a raid. I didn't even look at, like, this egg or the stars or anything. I was just like, oh, this one church is about to have a raid, and I go over there, and then there's, like, 3 people kind of sitting in front of the church. And I see it, and then I see it. It's a legendary for the Regicide.
Regice?
Yeah, that one. And then, like, I was just gonna, like, sit in my car and wait for them to join. We would have needed a lot of people, but I was like, oh, I'll just wait for them to join. And, like, I was looking on the screen, and then it took a while, so I just, like, got out of my car and went over to them and we're like, are you guys here for the raid? Because that would have been weird if they were just sitting there and I'm waiting on them. And they're like, yeah. And then they're like, oh, we're waiting on more people. And then before I know it, like, I look over onto the street and there's, like, 6 or 7 cars that have just, like, surrounded this church. And, like, 16 people ended up doing the raid that I just happened to, like, stumble upon. It was very cool. Like, obviously,
so
like,
you got a Regice today.
I defeated it, but I wasn't able to catch it.
Aw, that's a bummer.
Yeah. But
the last raid I did with the Regice, I had a friend bring, like, 4 people with him to my place of work because it's a gym, and there was like 5% health left, and we couldn't do it. I was so bummed.
Yeah, I feel like 5, would it be 6 total?
So there was 7 accounts doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's not enough. Like,
it's not enough. It was really close. Now I have an alt account because I'm a cheater like that, and so because Yuri has an alt account, and I was like,
oh, if Yuri does it.
Yeah, well, I never thought about it, but I was like, I have an iPad that I bring with me everywhere. Like, fuck it, let's do it.
Oh my God.
So I have an alt account now.
Is it at least on the blue team?
Oh, duh.
Okay, good.
So my main account is Dexterity, and my alt account is Dexteridum. Like Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I forget that you're on the blue team because Becker's is on Instinct. So I was like, I know somebody I do a podcast with is on the bad team.
It's Teddy.
Yeah, it's Teddy. Why you gotta be? I imagine Teddy probably played. I don't even know if Teddy even got far enough. Like he definitely got the app and probably played a little bit. But
oh yeah, I'm sure he downloaded it and played it when the hype was real. But I'm sure he fell off pretty quick. That's not really his jam.
I'm wondering if he got to the point to pick a team or if he dropped off before then.
That takes no time.
Yeah, I mean,
I got my team in like half an hour of playing it on my alt account. Like, it takes no time if you're actually like actively playing it.
It also depends on where you are. Like, freaking
yeah, Teddy's in a more populated area than I am, so I feel like it takes even less time.
My town freaking had no Pokemon when the game first came out.
Yikes!
It is good that Teddy isn't here, or else he'd just be rolling his eyes at all this.
Yeah, I would. So the cool thing about my place of residence, I can open the game at any moment, and there's like 5 to 15 Pokemon just chilling outside my apartment building.
There's usually about 3 to 5 here, which is nice because my old house, nothing ever spawned there. There was actually a Pokestop within like 2-minute walking distance from me, but nothing spawned at my house.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so, and I was like, I don't want to walk over there, and it's not like something I can hit from the street. It was just like just far enough off the like street that you couldn't hit it. So it's like, there's some cool stuff going on in Pokemon Go that we'll talk about later. But I have been playing Hands of Fate 2. I streamed a little bit of it. I played the original Hands of Fate. I got it from Humble Bundle, and it was very cool. It was like very simple. The original was just kind of focused on your standard card deck. You'd have your jacks, kings, queens. You'd have and you'd have. I remember like clubs is obvious that if you landed on 5 of clubs, you'd have to fight 5 guys who had kind of like club items. I feel like spades was like sword guys and stuff. I know one of them was lizards. I don't know which suit best represents lizards, but maybe that's spades? Like, I don't know, scales? Like maybe instead of spades there were scales, like 5 scales. And then there was also like, it was like a roguelike, and you also had to do like some kind of, like, each time you took a step, like went to a new card, you used a little bit of your health or your food. Each step took 1 food, so you had to try and like get more food. Which there were cards that like there was merchants. There was also like story cards, where there'd be like an old lady who you could help, and maybe she would give you food, and you had to like pick. Like they would give you like 4 cards. And it almost has like some D&D like elements to it. Instead of rolling like a D20, you'd pick from one of the 4 cards, and depending on how hard it is, like maybe one of them would say success and the other 3 would say like failure. Or if it's something easy, you might have like 1 failure, 2 successes, and 1 like very successful. And and then some of these story cards would have like a little token attached to them. And if you succeed in the first step of the story, like by getting the very successful roll, the story would continue, and the next time you get that token, and then the next time you land on that card, and the next time, like you kind of like, play the maps over and over and encounter these cards several times. And so this next time you encounter that card, like, the story would continue. Like, so in like Hands of Fate 2, there's a arm wrestling card that I'm encountering, and the first time I landed on it was the first round of the arm wrestling, and then I had to beat that guy, and then next time I landed on that card, it was round 2. It got to be round 3, and like the prizes went up as I did it. Round 3, I ended up losing, and they were like, well, next time you land on this card, the competition will start anew. But there's also like really cool cards of like, and so this is Hands of Fate 2, Hand of Fate 2. That, so there's like, they added so many really cool things to Hand of Fate. For one, so it was very story light in the first one. There was some like vague, like, it almost felt like the dealer was kind of like the devil, like the death, and you were playing for a chance to get your life back. And in the end, you ended up having to fight and defeat the dealer. And then and I was thinking, like, okay, now the game ends and I'm gonna get like here's what's happening and stuff, but it just went to credits. So it was so I didn't really get like a satisfying like story from it. But what's interesting is Hand of Fate 2, it seems like you have been recruited by the dealer, and he keeps talking about like he's training you to be his ally and stuff to defeat this betrayer who seems to be the guy from the first game. Like, you're kind of being trained by the dealer to like battle the guy, the previous hero. And it's like, I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. They also added some cool stuff like companions that you can decide like who you want with you, and they have their own story quests. Like the first guy was like a bard who ended up being like, he's kind of a con man and tricked a bunch of thieves into working for him, but also he owes people money, and there's a lot of cool stuff with him. And then I just unlocked this kind of like brutish warrior guy who's apparently been exiled from his people. And there's also like there's like a lot going on in this game's universe. I'm very intrigued to find out more. It also has Twitch integration, which I love. People watching can vote on, like, they can be like, does every 8 turns or every 8 steps I do, something will happen based on what they voted. So like they could be like, give him 10 max health, or he loses 10 coins, or he loses 10 food or something. And there's some stuff that I don't know what it does. Those are kind of the more obvious ones. So it's fun for them to kind of interact with the game. And they can also help me, like, they can vote on the choices I make. Like, do I help this kid? And I can click a button and they'll go into chat of like, what do you guys think we should do? So it's fun. I'm excited to play more of that. I've also got Sonic Generations on the Steam sale. That game is both very good, but not as good as I remember it being. Because I remember it being very, very good. It's just kind of good now. I like the 3D levels more than the 2D levels, but some of the 2D levels are pretty good. But the City Escape level is by far the best. And I've messed around a little bit with Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, which is a free...
Spooky's House of Jump Scares?
I believe I typed it as it read on Steam.
Oh.
Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. Is that not the proper?
Oh, maybe that's the second one.
Well, yeah. So they did a remake of it, like a paid remake with new graphics.
Oh, okay. Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, free to play on Steam.
Yeah. So that's the one I've been playing, and it's got some interesting stuff. It's actually really, like, it's simple graphics, but it does cool stuff, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It's kind of spooky.
When Markiplier played it, it was Spooky's House of Jump Scares. Also, it looks like when Polygon played it, so maybe they changed it for the Steam.
I mean, the start screen will, I think it says that the first time you play it, but also every time you load up the game, the start screen changes, like the description changes.
Right, I'm wondering if that includes the DLC, because I know that they had a DLC after Markiplier played it. Which I know sounds like a really dumb way, but that's the only way I know that game, though. I watched Markiplier play it a long time ago.
I know that they did a paid graphics, like, remake. Like, they...
Right, I can see the paid graphics. It's just Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion HD.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion includes the DLC they added afterward, which didn't cost anything. It was just extra content they added.
I have no idea. I do not know anything about... I saw a little bit of Griffin McElroy play it one time, and him being very spooked, and that was him kind of doing a cut of him jumping around and stuff. So
yeah, on Polygon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a few monsters in. I'm like, I respect I like the little ones that just jump out, because early on you're like, oh, this is chill. But then that added on to the really freaky monsters is like, no, I actually hate these now. Those were cute at the beginning, but now that there's like the scary stuff chasing me constantly, fuck these. Fuck these and everything associated with them. So that's what I've been playing. I'm excited about most of those things to play more. Sonic Generations, I don't know if I'm gonna play again. See, Sonic Generations does some, like, the base storyline is kind of cool, and those things are really cool. But once you play through like 3 stages, you'll get to a boss, and they'll be like, you need to unlock the boss by playing 3 like bonus modes, or play a bonus mode in each stage. I'm like, I don't want, like, I played the stages, just let me continue the story. I don't want to play additional stuff. Like, that should be something for people who want to do, can do that. Don't force it. That's the thing that, like, bugs me the most about Sonic Generations. Otherwise, I pretty much like it. But this brings us to the news. Dun-dun-dun. Where's Teddy when we need a hot theme song?
He didn't do a theme song. He did a drum solo. That's not a song.
And then he said the word news, but in a song voice.
No, he just said news.
Darian, give me a theme song for news.
No.
Okay.
I'm not a monkey. I will not dance for you on command.
Okay. Well, then, Darian, tell me about PS4's greatest hits line.
Okay. So, Sony decided to introduce the PlayStation Hits line on the PlayStation 4. It's going to come out with the red label like it used to. I know that they're already out now, I think, right? Yeah, they've come out by now. This came out like right after the show was posted last. The list that's available in the US right now contains Battlefield 4, Bloodborne, Doom, Drive Club, Infamous Second Son, Killzone Shadowfall, The Last of Us Remastered, Little Big Planet 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Definitive Experience, Project Cars, Ratchet & Clank, Street Fighter V, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Yakuza 0, and Yakuza Kiwami, And they're released at the $19.99 price point starting June 28th. There's only 14 in Canada, but all of the 15 games I just listed are available right now. You can get them in the red case, red label. I don't know if the case is red, actually. That was something I was wondering.
I think bringing back that line is very good. Like, if anybody asks, like, what are good PS4 games to start with, like, point them there. Just look for this label. These are, like, the greatest hits, and they're cheap, and they're like my first PS4 games for people just jumping in now.
Well, I've never played any of these except for the Little Big Planet 3.
Well, this is your chance. How do you...
Now I've got to. They're only $20.
Anything else to just excited about this new development in the PlayStation life cycle? You're making a face.
I'm reading the article again. Feature red packaging instead of the traditional blue. Yep. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
That's what I was worried about. PlayStation Hits launch lineup will feature 15 games in the US. Oh, okay. Sorry, that's an edit afterward. I already said that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's exciting news. I don't have a segue. The World Health Organization is now classifying gaming disorder, or is adding gaming disorder to its globally recognized compendium of medical conditions and diagnoses. Diagnoses? Yeah. You might be asking, what is gaming disorder? It's
bullshit.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here's how it's defined. Gaming disorder is characterized by a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, digital gaming, or video gaming. May be online, i.e. over the internet, or offline, manifest by 1. Impaired control over gaming, onset, frequency, intensity, duration, termination, context. It sounds like... a thing. 2, increase in priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities. 3, continuation or escalation of gaming despite the consequences of negative consequences. The behavior pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. The pattern of gaming behavior may be continuous or epidemic and recurrent. The gaming behavior and other features are not normally evident over a period of time of at least 12 months, and in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, they must be evident for a period of over 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, although the required duration may be shortened if all diagnostic requirements are met and symptoms are severe. It's like, I get it. I do, like...
It's just addiction.
Yeah, it is. It's addiction.
Adding a special title to it just makes it so like, oh, do you have a gaming disorder? Like, now it's going to be like, oh, you play a lot of games, you must be addicted.
I mean, I feel like this came up before, and I think this was just researchers looking into it when we last heard about it. And honestly, like, people were like, no, that's dumb. But also people were like, this is actually somewhat a good thing because it allows people with this addiction to be able to get help. Because they're like, not so much here in America, but like in like Asian countries.
I know in Korea there's been confirmed cases of people gaming themselves to death because they'll completely throw out all other personal care.
They will just go to a gaming people have been found at a gaming cafe having died from not eating or drinking and just been playing StarCraft for long enough to just die. And yeah, that would be being addicted to that game. But like,
That's still, like, it's still addiction.
If it takes... And what I find interesting is that they, like, it needs to be at least a year for the diagnosis to be inside. For you to show these symptoms for at least a year. Like, how... I don't know how this relates to other addictive things, like gambling, like if it's similar. But, so, on the other hand, like, a lot of people who... like, research this, say, just adding it at this point, there's not enough research to back up that this is an actual thing.
I feel like there's actually an argument to be made there, because, like, you can be addicted to a certain video game, not gaming as a whole, and exhibit these symptoms. Like, alright, a new game came out, and I'm exhibiting these symptoms for, a month while I finish this game. But once I'm done with this game, like, life goes back to normal.
Well, I mean, the other thing about this is that, like, gaming online, especially, like, if you are prioritizing playing games with your friends, is that, you're being social with your friends, and obviously there's, there can be a cost to, you're not working or whatever, and there's probably something else going on in your life that's causing you to withdraw in that way, but there's other reasons you could be gaming than you have gaming disorder. Like, you're probably withdrawing from your life for some reason. And gaming's just the outlet that you've chosen, and it's nice because it's an active outlet to allow you to kind of pull back, because, like, you can't make the world disappear as much by, like, watching TV. But when you're, like, playing a game, you're, like, fully absorbed in that, and it's easier to forget everything else. But I'm not a gaming researcher. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not, I honestly can't really have a say in this. I have not seen the extreme cases. I've seen people gaming. I've seen people who have gamed a lot, but, like, should it be its own thing? I'm gonna leave that to the experts, but does this really... If it is a thing, is it bad? If they say gaming disorder is a thing, like, treated the same as gambling, a gambling addiction, is that bad for gaming? I don't think so. I think it's good for people who suffer from these specific conditions and doesn't really affect anybody else who enjoys the hobby. It's like, you can safely gamble. There are people who can't, and they need to be aware of that, and they need to seek help when the, it becomes a problem. And maybe this is just going to allow people who have, those very few people who will get addicted to gaming, allow them resources to get help, get counseling for gaming addiction if they have it. But I guess we'll let the researchers and scientists kind of decide if it's really a thing, because there seems to be a lot of argument going on there, and I don't feel qualified to say one way or another. Darian, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Whatever happened with that whole PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds suing Fortnite thing?
Well, you see, PUBG Corp dropped the suit. And that's it. It's over.
Okay.
They gave up.
But you were so sure that they were, like, they did the bad things and then they were going to win and it was going to be great.
I thought they had ground to stand on, but the timing was wrong. As Teddy had said, the timing was, Teddying was very poor. And You know, PUBG didn't want to risk losing all of their fan base that were also Fortnite players.
Are they?
You know, losing the respect of people.
I'm not sure that many people play both.
There's a few people that play both.
I think there's a few.
I have a lot of friends that play both.
I think there's a few people
Most
who
of
play
my
both.
friends play both. I have one friend and my boyfriend who refuse to play Fortnite.
Can we talk about how buck wild, like, Fortnite's got some weird stuff going on over there, and it's kind of intriguing. Like,
we don't have to talk about Fortnite, but the PUBG
no, I want to talk about the whole
against Fortnite has been dropped.
Okay, but Fortnite, like, they had the whole, like, they had the Morse code thing, and then they had the, like, they had the asteroid hit, but not where they thought, and then they're like a city got built up over time, and then now like a rocket took off.
They've got a really cool lore.
Yeah, they're kind of building
in their world.
They're kind of building this like active lore. Like it makes you want to play more. And I don't play at all, but I just see it happening. It's one of those like things like EVE Online where you just hear stories and be like, that seems really cool, but I don't like playing this. I'm intrigued to see, like, I saw the video of the rocket taking off. I saw the video of the rocket taking off as the guy, there was a player who, like, everybody built this giant ramp to watch the rocket take off, and all of them were just standing on the ramp looking as the rocket took off and stuff. And one player destroyed the ramp from under them and got, like, the highest solo kill streak ever by just killing because they all dropped and got all of these kills from these people watching the rocket. And it's super douchey, but I guess you do what you do.
Is there a way that you could find that?
Yeah, just search like solo kill record plus rocket launch. It's a little.
Oh, here we go.
It's a little.
48 kills.
Yeah. And also the dude who did it is very bad at the game. He's got very low KD record and stuff. He's just opportunistic. But yeah, some interesting things happening over at Fortnite. Darian's currently clicking on things.
I'm trying to find the exact moment.
It's near the end of the video.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Pokemon Go's developer. Niantic is working on new AR technology that is going to... So, basically, most AR technology just has the thing just kind of appear in the world on top of your camera. It doesn't really recognize what's there. But Niantic is working on occlusion technology that basically they're going to recognize what your camera's seeing. They can see like, oh, that's a bench, that's a person, and like Pikachu will walk behind a person. Basically, they're just going to hide the image of Pikachu as it proceeds behind that object. But it's going to be actively recognizing these objects and allow it to move around. What does that mean for the game? I don't know. Probably nothing. Honestly, I don't think that many people play with AR on because it makes the game harder. And
it kills your phone faster.
Yeah, and
it's garbage.
The demo they showed is not really relevant to the gameplay. Unless they're going to add some new features to it, but it's cool that they're messing with this technology, and maybe we'll see it used in the future in interesting ways. Maybe not in this game, but maybe in maybe future projects from them, and maybe future things from this game. Just a cool thing happening. But another cool thing happening in Pokemon Go is this Saturday, this Sunday, it's the July 8th, from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. will be the Squirtle Community Day in Pokemon Go. And the game will feature Squirtles wearing the Squirtle sunglasses seen in the Pokemon anime. The Squirtle Squad, as they say, will be in the game with the glasses, and it's going to be great, and people are excited. Are you excited, Darian?
I'm excited.
Okay.
That was the one thing that I had mentioned that people were wanting based on the Facebook groups that I'm in. So I'm sure that fans will rejoice because they're getting what they wanted.
Do you think people wanted a Halo TV show?
I'm sure some people did. I'm not sure these people did. You know, you and me. I guess I don't know what you feel. I never got into Halo, so I'm not here nor there about it, but I know it's a big deal.
I played a few random Halo games, and I don't remember the story being that good or interesting. I remember them doing some stuff, but, like, I don't think anybody's been playing Halo for the story. Maybe.
I know that fans, I think Rooster Teeth specifically did it, the red versus blue thing that they made separately.
Yeah. They made that thing, and that started off as comedy, but then actually after like a few seasons it kind of got more serious. I haven't seen it all, but I do know that like they got a whole CGI team and things got a little buck wild.
They got serious about it.
Yeah. But the actual Halo stuff, I've never been intrigued to learn more about what's going on with Master Chief, but I do know they have books and stuff like that, but not, I don't know. Tell me,
if you have a book, you can make a TV show.
Also, there have been like mini-series and stuff that they've made and nobody liked them. But I guess Showtime's taking a crack at it. Tell me about that, Darian.
What?
Tell me about this Halo TV show being made by Showtime.
They're doing it. The first episode, or each episode will be an hour long. Production is set for early 2019. Quote from Showtime, President and CEO David Nevins is Halo is our most ambitious series ever, and we expect audiences who have been anticipating it for years to be thoroughly rewarded. This vision of Halo will enthrall fans of the game while also drawing the uninitiated into a world of complex characters that populate this unique universe. So, yeah, they're doing it. It's going to be produced by Showtime in association with Microsoft and 343 Industries and Steven Spielberg's Amblin Television, along with Killen, Rupert Wyatt, Scott Pennington.
There's some people.
Lots of names. Lots of guys.
Wow.
Lots of men. I don't see any women in this whole article.
Okay. I don't. I'm sure if Teddy was here, he would have lots of feelings. I know Teddy has been a big Halo boy. I don't know if he's cared about the story. I just know he likes the multiplayer. But maybe he's real excited to see Halo on the small screen again for like the 10th time, because there's been some very unsuccessful Halo things that no one likes. But they'll try again with Steven Spielberg, and it's going to go bad. I'm calling it now. It's going to go bad. Darian, Chubby Hamster.
Okay, so Overwatch announced their next hero, and he's a chubby hamster.
Is he chubby?
He's basically Hamtaro in a wrecking ball. His name is Hammond, and he's a wrecking ball. It's a mech. It's a little hamster in a mech. And it's so cute. He's Hamtaro.
Okay. He is a tank character. He, I guess, is more of a pestering tank. I don't think he's able to do some accurate shots. Like he's got, he's kind of diva-esque, but he's able to be more accurate. He can kind of get headshots with his turrets. He also is very mobile. He can go into his little ball, and he also has like a slingshot, so he can turn into a wrecking ball, and also, so he can turn into the ball, do a slingshot into the air, and then do a ground pound, with it, and then kind of like, so say the other team's like grouped up, he's actually really good for kind of entering the scenario where like the other team's kind of grouped up. Like he can come in from the sky by doing a little slingshot and then ground pound in, and he also has a shield that is more powerful based on if it's triggered with more enemies around. So if there's several enemies around, he gets kind of more shield. So it definitely he's a character that you're gonna want to kind of get into the meat, like get in there, and then get out, which is allowed by his kind of mobility with his ball. I don't really play Overwatch, but I watched a video beforehand to stay informed to tell you, our dear listeners. Darian, did you know anything about the gameplay of Hamtaro?
I did not.
Do you know anything about the lore?
The lore of Hamtaro?
The lore of Chubby Hamster.
Of Hammond?
Yes.
Well... He's a missing specimen of the same place that Winston came from, the Horizon Lunar Colony.
He is a super smart hamster made from the same people who made who's the monkey?
Winston.
Who made Winston super smart? but he's a hamster.
Brought to you by the same people who made Winston.
So apparently, the animals revolted and like shot the researchers who like enhanced them into space. But it actually, like, I heard that before I watched the kind of lore trailer for him. And it actually made me super sad because, like, it's narrated by one of the researchers, and he's like seems like really like excited and happy about Hammond, and is like, oh, Hammond's always getting up to no good. I'm excited to see what he does next. And then like I'm just thinking like, it probably like murdered you next. That's probably what he got up to next. But yeah, it's actually, like, I would want to play him. One of these days, I'm going to buy this Overwatch game that all the kids talk about, and maybe I'll play this character named Hammond the Hamster. And I'll be a little ball, and I'll get in there, and I'll shoot the guys, and then I'll get murdered because I don't know how to play video games very good, and it's going to be a great time.
I'm excited. I'm not going to play him because I don't play Overwatch anymore, but he's very cute, and I love him.
Why don't you play Overwatch anymore? What happened?
Because I'm very bad at it, and it makes me feel bad.
Okay.
I'd much rather play League of Legends and feel bad about that because I've been doing it for so long that I'm a little bit desensitized to it. Overwatch is still new enough that it's like, I will never be good at this game. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not playing it.
This brings us to the topic of the show. Last time we asked you, how do you feel about Beyond Good and Evil 2 asking people to help them make things for the game? How do you feel about creatives having to compete for a chance to get paid from a huge game studio? So if you don't know, at E3 they showed off a little bit of Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then they were like, you can help us make the game by providing art and music and radio stuff to be on the radio through Hitrecord, which is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's thing. So people are going to be able to go there and try and submit stuff to get into the game. And I will say that they do pay people, but it is what creatives call spec work, which is basically a contest, kind of, where you have to create the designs for a chance to get paid, for a chance for them to become something. And this is like, this is a AAA game. This is from a big game studio asking fans to help them make the game. How do you feel about that, Darian?
Are they actually saying, like, hey, help us develop the game? Or are they saying, hey, add extra Easter eggs? Because it sounds like Easter eggs.
Well, basically, it sounds like help us make assets for the game. Help us.
But only in, like, art and music. So it's like, all right, I'm playing the game. Like, there's posters up, and there's a poster that's a fan
Okay.
thing. I guess that's what I'm interpreting.
Yeah, that is what is the case.
I mean, so if it's that, because what I was originally thinking this was about was like, we can't make the game. Send us portions of the game. Like, help us actually develop the game because we can't do it. Send us the
code. We don't know how to code.
Send us coding. We're a AAA game studio. We made the first game, but we can't figure this one out. Please help. Okay. So there's a difference between, like, asking, like, help us make the game and being like, hey, we'll pay you to put your cool shit in as Easter eggs. Like, I feel like that's what they're doing, and I think that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Because it's not like, we can't do it. It's like fan integration. Like, you made fan art, and we're putting it in the game, and we're going to pay you for it, because that's how legal stuff works.
Well, I mean, they don't have to. They just apparently
They don't have to.
Hitrecord has a record of paying people before. I don't know if really it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt who's doing the paying, or Ubisoft, or where the money is coming. But this is work that would have been done by a graphics team or a music team. This would be stuff that a normal game studio would do themselves. Like, and now they're asking fans to do it. And honestly, my theory on what's happening is that, like, they announced this game a long, long time ago, and then it just went silent. And I almost feel like Ubisoft doesn't really want to fully back it. And so the team who's doing it is just trying to make it happen. Like, they're like, they're not really giving us a budget. We're just going to try and we're going to ask fans to help us make it. Obviously they can't send us code like Darian wants, but they can provide assets. Instead of paying for somebody to make music, we can just ask fans to do it, and we can throw them pennies to the dollar of what we'd pay an actual designer, and we get to pick from all of these people who have designed or made music and be like, oh, we like this one. Whereas a designer, you'd pay them by the hour or by the thing, and maybe it's going to take several drafts and stuff, whereas as something like spec work, where you're doing a contest, that you have to just create the thing and send it out there and hope that's what they want, and the person on the other end gets to pick from all of these designs with only having to pay you for one. They get to pay for the one they like the most, whereas a normal thing, one person would create several drafts until they find the perfect one for the project, and they would get paid for it all. Whereas the other spec work, only one person gets paid, despite lots of people doing work. What solidifies this theory for me is Giant Bomb did a demo for Beyond Good and Evil 2 at E3, and they were talking about, like, all of these worlds you'd be able to visit and stuff, and somebody asked them how many worlds were going to be in the game, and they were like, depends on how much time we get.
Oof.
So is
there a release date set?
No. It seems like they're just trying to, like, scrap together, like, somebody at Ubisoft just had a dream to make Beyond Good and Evil 2, and they're just trying to scrap together the game any way they can.
Well, Well, so just reading the development page on the Wikipedia shows me that there was a lot of rumors early on in like the pre-development stage before they actually started developing the game, and like stuff that was leaked early on wasn't official. Like they had a specific direction, but they hadn't been backed, so like it didn't count. And then they did get backed, and then they gave a trailer in E3 2017, and I believe, as far as I can tell, that's the only official trailer.
Where was the teaser? When did they put out the Beyond Good and Evil 2 teaser?
Because there was rumors from like 2007 until like 2016.
Okay,
when
but one E3 they put out a teaser. A screenshot of May 2008 teaser trailer. In May 2008, they put out a teaser of like it was a very short completely CGI thing, and it with Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that was
leaked.
It was shown. People, was it leaked, or I remember it being shown at E3, I think. Hold on. Ansel said in May 2008 interview, Beyond Good and Evil in pre-production and had yet to be later. Blah, blah, blah. Leaked. Okay, well, we saw this thing, so...
That's what I'm saying. Like, the official announcement didn't come until E3 20... Well, the first official trailer from the game didn't come until E3 2017. They confirmed it, I believe, in 2016, based on what this is saying. But, like, they haven't actually been officially working on the game. Like, they weren't greenlit.
Well, it seems like they haven't really been officially greenlit now. Like, if they're just showing it and asking for help from fans, basically, I don't like it seems kind of shitty. If there was like, get your one specific design in, this one thing can be yours, but they're asking for lots of things that their team should be doing, like their major assets. You know, sure, it could be a thing on a wall, but that's stuff that your designer should be doing. They also ask for music, things their designer, that is stuff their people would typically be doing.
So at E3 last year, they were still at day 0 for the game's development, according to Ansel, because they were working on developing a solar system simulation tool.
I remember seeing them showing like little bits of things at the last time we saw it, and I was like, that's nothing. You have nothing. And like they were
they have nothing. That's why they're doing this.
Yeah. At least this time around when they showed it, it was like, "Oh, I see, it looks like a thing." Like they had the big CGI trailer again, which was like, okay, you paid somebody to make CGI for you, but the actual gameplay stuff that we saw was like, okay, that looks like a game. That looks like you have something. And from what I hear, it's still rough, but at least they're starting to create something there. So to be clear, you're cool with it.
To be clear, the premise that paying a fan to put gimmicky little things in the game, like as fan art or like little Easter eggs, that's cool to me.
Define Easter eggs.
Asking someone, like in Portal 2 or Portal, you can find the radios in every level, and there's a specific channel you can go to on those radios that plays the Portal theme song.
Okay.
That's an Easter egg. That's cheesy. It doesn't do anything for the gameplay.
Okay.
It doesn't change how the game plays out. It's just fun little things you can find.
Okay. Like, this would be like posters on the wall and stuff that add to the aesthetic of the world.
Okay. Like in Fallout, how there's like advertisements for cheesy little things, like...
No, just like... I mean, everything... It's hard to describe how a world, like, the way a world feels is due to everything in it. Like, you look around, a poster on the wall is as much part of the game as the story because it's the setting. So they're asking for you to make wall graffiti for them. And that is as much defining the world as the characters. The characters are part of the world as much as that poster. And you're going to look at that poster and maybe someone's going to go, I love touches like this to this world. And that's not going to be something Ubisoft made. That's going to be something a fan made. And
I feel like that doesn't take away from it. That's more fan integration.
Okay.
That's like, I got to be a part of this game that I love and care about, and I put time and effort into the first time around, so now my fan art is in the game. Something that I put time and effort into is in the game, and I got paid for it. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
That's like if I submitted a really cool, like, Diva fan art to Blizzard, and they're like, hey, we want to make this a spray so that players can use this.
Okay, Darian, you remember the conversation we had when Alex O'Neill was here about Microsoft replacing their support team with fans? The news story about that.
That's not what they're doing, though.
This is kind of the same thing, but with your graphics and sound department.
It's not. Do they have a graphics and sound department that they were replacing? Do they already have people filling those roles? Because from what it sounds like, they don't. They're not replacing that work. They are hiring outside. It's not the same. It's not, we made you train free work and then fired you to use this free work. It is, we didn't have those positions filled. Hey, would you like to contribute to the game?
To make this game, they would have to have those positions. So instead of having those jobs, they're instead having fans do those jobs.
But they're being paid, and they're not replacing anyone with it.
But nobody's getting an hourly wage, and I guess...
If I work for commission, like emote artists on Twitch, people who create different... things on Twitch, they work on commission. They don't work on hourly. They work for a set amount for that piece.
But that's for that piece. Imagine creating a bunch of emotes and submitting them to Twitch, and this is Twitch puts out a contest of, hey, we're gonna make a new emote. Send us emotes, and we'll pick one person, and they win a prize. And thousands of designers spend thousands of hours making emotes, and one person gets paid.
That's how contests work.
Yes, and that's shitty. Designers are very much against spec work, i.e. contests, because that's a lot of people not getting paid for the work they're doing. Whereas a normal thing, you do work, you get paid. If someone said, hey, go serve beer as a contest, like, we're gonna have a bunch of people come in and serve beer, and the best one is the one that gets paid. And so you're doing the same work that a designer would do, but with the possibility of maybe getting paid.
That's like American Idol. Like, okay, you get to go and you're gonna be on TV. You're gonna be there. Your work is gonna be shown, right? Like, people are gonna see you and recognize you and know you, but only one person's gonna win. But that's not exactly true, because, like, if you actually have talent and if people actually appreciate you, regardless of if you win, like, the big prize, like, your stuff is out there now.
Yes.
People are talking about you now. That's how that works.
Yes, but that's
like,
not...
now people are talking about you and your work is out there, and, like, you can be recognized in different ways.
Okay, but that's not how that's going to work with this. And for one, somebody looks at your art in the game, are they going to know it's your art? If they hear your song, that you might be getting, I don't know what their pay rate, Hitrecord is going to pay you, but are you getting exposure? Like, it's not exposure, it's not a fair pay rate. This is not... As someone who does design things, I can totally see so many people getting screwed because they're jumping at the chance to be part of a big AAA game, whereas a team of designers should be doing this work and getting paid fairly and getting healthcare and getting benefits that a full AAA team should get, but instead they're giving fans pennies on the dollar to be included in a game franchise they liked.
I guess I just see it differently. I don't know. To me, it's like, this is a contest. There's only so many winners. And I feel like I'm not as much of a personal designer. Like, I don't have the patience to teach myself how to draw or design or do music or anything like that. I don't do that. So I don't have a personal, I don't have the same type of experience in that. But to me, it just looks like I'm excited for a chance to be in my game, or in this game that I care about. I might get paid for them putting my thing in it, and I feel like that's... If I was able to design something for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I just had one dumb little poster in Twilight Town, and it was about the struggle tournament that they do, right? And I just got to design one poster, and it was in Kingdom Hearts 3. Even if nobody knew who I was, I would be ecstatic that my shit is in that game because of how much I care about that game. Like, I get it. I'm sure they're still going to have a full design team for both of those aspects because they're not going to be able to use just fan-related or fan-made stuff to create the entire game. It just feels like an Easter egg submission to me.
Okay, I guess we'll have to see how much gets made up. I mean, there's a lot of things that people have questions about, but I've seen a lot of people in the creative community have a strong backlash about this due to the way it kind of works. And I guess I've seen reactions both ways. But next time, and also nobody submitted and told us what they thought, so we can't get any third opinions. You're just gonna hear me and Darian yell at each other. Next time, has Sony's decision to not support cross-platform play with other consoles, despite Microsoft and Nintendo's full support, affected where you play your games? Also, do you think this will hurt them going into the next console generation if they don't reverse their decisions? Send your responses at readysetgamecast.com/submit. Darian, can you take us through the questions?
Hell yeah, let's do the questions.
And comments.
So do you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite soda for us to read on the show.
So there were some people who saw the question late last time, but I feel like I felt like including their comments anyway about their favorite E3 announcements.
Okay, so Adam Wells said, my favorite E3 announcement was Killer Queen Black. Can't wait to play that on my Switch. I think that game is going to be huge.
I've heard good things about the arcade game.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, didn't we? Vaguely.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Your boy Pansexual Penguin, who's my man, Cameron, he's my good friend, said his favorite E3 announcement had to be Smash Brothers Ultimate. Feels bad no Waluigi, though. Which is a real feels bad.
Yep.
It's a travesty. My favorite coaster has Waluigi on it.
Here's the thing. People keep saying Waluigi's not in the game. He is in the game. He's just
he's not a playable character.
He's not a playable character.
That's what people are upset about.
Yeah. He's also never been a playable character, so.
Yeah. That's why he's not in there.
Yeah.
Yuri Gaspar said, a thought and a question. With Sony so often looking to disappoint us, see Fork Knife, is the messaging the fans are sending about name changes wrong? Should we be saying, no, please don't let us change our names? The idea being that Sony is actually a small child and that reverse psychology should work on them.
I think, I mean, Sony is making stupid decisions when it comes to the crossplay stuff, which we'll talk about next time. The name changes, I get why it doesn't work. I understand the technical reasons. I also know that they're trying their hardest to basically rewrite their entire architecture to allow this, because they made some stupid decisions when they first created the PlayStation Network, and it's preventing them from...
They put themselves in a little hole, and they keep trying to dig themselves out, but it's just getting deeper, and they're just trying so hard to just get out of the hole, and they can't.
I mean, it is honestly a good sign for Sony that, like, one of people's biggest complaints about the console is that they can't change their names. Like, as opposed to, I mean, Xbox, people are like, what's to play over here? There's nothing worth playing. Like, there's a lot of things that people could be upset over, and the fact that they can't change their name is pretty low on the list. But Sony's trying for that one at least. Crossplay, people need to keep yelling, and eventually Sony's gonna crack. I do love the commercial Nintendo and Microsoft made, just like digging at them, like trying to get them to break. And I'm curious to see what Microsoft and Sony want out of it. Like, I guess they want access to the players, but it seems like it'd help game companies more than it helped the other consoles, because then, you know, Fortnite would get all of these players all playing together, all spending money together and stuff. I guess like somebody wouldn't buy a game on like Minecraft on the Switch if all their friends play on PlayStation, because they want to play with their friends. So they kind of want, if the other company, like if crossplay is across the board, maybe Microsoft and Sony think that more people will play on their systems because they'll still get to play with their PlayStation friends. We'll see.
I really think if people want to play games with their friends, they shouldn't do it on console.
Oh, that is the thing, that PlayStation or that PC is compatible with everything. You can play on PlayStation, you can play on Xbox, you can do it on PC, but some people just don't like PCs. That is all the questions and comments. Time for housekeeping. Go to ReadySetGamecast.com for links to the podcast on all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube.com/TheLastGeek. Also, seriously, guys, I say this every time, but I mean it this time. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful. Darian, what other stuff should people think about?
Other Last Geek stuff. So, this is your regular reminder that GameMake Corp has a new episode. And it's an episode that features the very last episode featuring just regular old Dr. Beckers.
No.
Because she's about to evolve.
No, we did 3 recordings.
What?
Yeah, there are 2 unreleased recordings.
It's not the last one. I lied to you. Okay. Whatever. GameMake Corp is out. It's cool. Go listen to it. Our next episode for this far superior podcast, Ready Set Gamecast. Our next episode is on July 16th.
Is the recording?
And we will have a guest. What?
Is the recording? July 16th is the recording?
Is the recording.
Okay.
It'll be available on July 20th, hopefully. And our very special guest will be Penguin Von Penguin.
A kind of funny best friend.
He's a kind of funny best friend. I'm not a kind of funny best friend, so like
You're the only one.
I'm the only person so far that is not a kind of funny best friend. My only association is that I am in this podcast.
You keep like meeting all these people from the community and you're like, who's Greg Miller?
I don't, yep. His Twitter is twitter.com/penguinvpenguin. And if you want to find out more about him before you meet this beautiful man or woman, I'm not
He's a man.
assuming their gender. It's a man.
Yeah.
It's a person. Go to twitter.com/penguinvpenguin.
It's a penguin.
I also forgot to put this in the outline, but I am also going to be a guest on Caitlin Galees-Rowe's podcast called The Adventure Log. It's a monthly podcast that she does where she talks about, I think the tagline is like the stories from video games. The stories of video games give, I don't know. It's a really cool podcast. I'm going to be in it. There's like 5 episodes. Go listen to them. They're all on iTunes and Google Play, I think she said. Anyway, Adventure Log. I'm going to be on it. We record that
Do you know when it comes out?
soon.
Oh.
I know that soon. I don't want to say the exact date because I don't want to give her any like time restrictions, but
Okay.
she also had mentioned that her patrons get access to the recordings early. So yeah, go check out Caitlin Galees-Rowe. She was our guest in the last episode, and she's a super awesome girl, and we're best friends now.
Okay. Well, where can people find more from you, Darren?
Me? Well, you can find me at dexterity.com. DEXTERIDEE.com. You can also find me at twitch.tv/dexterity. Twitter handle is dexterity. Instagram is dexterity. Facebook, I'm dexterity. I'm just dexterity everywhere. It's super cool. Except for Snapchat. That's okay though. What about you, Bryce?
Last Geek on Twitter, Last Geek Plays on Twitch, Last Geek Plays on Instagram, lastgeek.com. lastgeek.com. That is the entirety of this episode of Ready Set Gamecast. There's been a lot of tense conversations, but that's over now. And
We're all friends here.
next time you will be seeing more of Teddy Chinaris because he's the best and we all love him. And also, I love you. And I will see you again next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.